Hello everybody, I'm Storm here, and welcome to Final Fantasy XIV Online, the Shadowbringers expansion. We're going to be continuing our ongoing playthrough in Final Fantasy XIV, where we just completed the expanded storyline of the Stormblood expansion, and we will now be heading into the Shadowbringers expansion. And we'll be continuing to play the character that we've been playing the whole way through, which is our female Alra character, Ayame Yatsurugi is her name. And yeah, we're going to be heading on in. So the current situation is that most of the leading members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are currently incapacitated due to having their souls called away from their bodies by a mysterious voice, and they're basically stuck in a comatose state. And after the liberation of the nations of Doma and Alamigo from the Garlean Empire, tensions with the Empire have come to a head, and with negotiations broken down, all-out war between the Garlean Empire and the Eorzean Alliance has broken out. But due to our intervention in the opening engagements of the war, the Eorzea Alliance has been able to achieve a modicum of success and actually forced things to a bit of a stalemate. So pretty much nobody is able to gain an advantage at this particular point, so the war is kind of in a stalemate at the moment. So, right at the end, as we were engaged with the Ascient Elidibus in control of Xenos' body, we finally had a more concrete encounter with the owner of the voice that has been calling away the Scions, and he indicated that no matter whether the war is won or lost, it doesn't matter, it will lead to a calamity anyway, and that a better path lies with him, and that he has left a device at the base of the Crystal Tower, which is going to serve as a beacon of sorts to allow him to summon us. And he made mention of the first, which is a reference to one of the 13 shards of the Source. So, it probably means that he is not in this world, which would explain why Kryl was not able to find or locate where the souls of the other Scions went, because they're not really here anymore. So, that is where we are at. And one of the things I had to decide was to whether or not I was going to continue to play as Warrior or play as Dark Knight, because I've unlocked and played through the storylines for both of those. And I've decided that, at least for now, we're going to continue to stick with Warrior. For the moment. I'm going to continue to level Dark Knight and keep it up, because I am going to switch to it at some point. But for now, we're going to stick with Warrior and continue on there. And as you can see, at least those who have been watching for a while will notice that I am wearing different gear. This is the Scion Traveler's gear that was given to us by Tataru at the end of Stormblood. And I found an axe design that kind of fits the overall look to glamour my axe too. So, there we are. So, with the preamble out of the way, let's go ahead and talk to Tataru and go ahead and get this new expansion started. Now, before we go, I did want to mention that I will not be playing this blind. I have played through all of the 5.0, which is the initial storyline of Shadowbringers already. So, as this isn't going to be an actual blind playthrough or anything like that. So, let's go ahead and talk to Tataru and see what she has to say. Tataru is itching to share what appears to be good news. Alright. We get an orchestrion roll, and we get a white oak weapon coffer. Interesting. Accept. Good news, Ayame. We've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon. Apparently, our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down into the hollows around the base of the Crystal Tower. A path I doubt we'd ever have found had the Ironworks and the Suns not added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we have eager eyes aplenty down there, checking under rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, it sounds like there's a lot of ground to cover. Alright, then we better go give them a hand. Indeed. My thoughts exactly. The sooner we find this beacon, the sooner you can travel to wherever it is this mysterious voice is coming from. And the sooner we can work out how to help our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up, and before the Empire comes calling again. Meaning we have no time to lose. Alright, there's a boat in North Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the site, so let's be on our way. Yep, there's the new quest accepted music there. Alright. So we need to speak to the St. Coinac ferryman in North Silvertier to head over to the base of the Crystal Tower. Alright, so where exactly are we headed? We are headed down there. Not too far a ride. And there's the Crystal Tower there. Which we did run through all of the Crystal Tower raid storyline previously, because it does come into play here a bit. Alright, there's a St. Coinac ferryman. Let's go ahead and talk to him and head on over. Alright, heading to the survey site, madam. It's on the eastern shore of the lake, and the swiftest way to get there is by boat. Yes. Alright, so here we are. Taru.
Look how many people there are! Should we get to it then? Pick up anything that seems the least bit device-like, and we'll make ourselves a pile.
Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour, maybe you'll change our look. We've found bugger all without you.
Biggs! Wedge!
Aye, aye. Well, we could hardly say no to a call for aid from the Scions. Jesse collared the chief of some other business, so we'll be working twice as hard to make up for his not being here.
Thrice as hard, even.
Thank you, both of you. I'm sure we'll find that beacon in no time.
I'm not seeing anything out here. Do you reckon you could squeeze in there, Wedge?
And get stuck halfway? No, thank you.
I could try if you like.
Tataru, no! We couldn't ask you to do that.
Oh, I'll be fine. This receptionist is not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Sorry, I meant to say, the scholars haven't finished their preliminary assessment of the site yet, so we're not supposed to venture too far in. What's that you got there? Now that looks promising.
Isn't that the Ironworks symbol? Counterfeiters?
Now I have you.
You are right.
What's happening?
Stay with me. Focus on my voice. Let expanse contract. Eon become instant.
Wait, this must be it. The device. Oh, this is supposed to happen.
Throw wide the gates that we may pass.
Oh, safe journey, warrior of light. Find our friends and bring them home.
It is a day for Shadowbringers.
And thank you
for showing me the dawn's light will shine again.
Oh, do not look at me so.
You're slaves to a tyrant. There's no freedom in that.
This is one battle you cannot fight. Away with you!
I must say your spirited accounts always comes in well contained.
We did everything right! Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this!
Your time has not yet come.
From endless dreams I awake. Something vague, yet urgent, calls me to action once more.
Rare to meet someone out here who's not a peddler themselves. What brings you into the wilds this time of night?
This time of night, but as bright as day.
Well, if it ain't the oldest joke in the book. Me granddad, God's rest his soul, used to tell that one to the barman at kicking out time. And when, pray tell, did we last have a dark night? You rotten old drunk, you, he'd reply. Over 100 bleeding years ago, that's when. You got that look down to a T. I'd almost think you meant it. Ah, got to you, did they? Poor beggar. That explains it then. Well, I've roads to travel and wares to sell, but you'd best hurry along to the town nearby. Just head east through the trees and aim for the Shining Tower. You'll find the place soon enough. 'Tis the biggest settlement for malms around. Go on now, friend. They'll take good care of you in the Crystarium.
So yeah, we have our first introduction.
Dizzying heights it rises. The gleaming spire. Its tip threatening to pierce the blinding canopy. There, it will all begin anew. Between dark and light. The pure and the corrupt. The one true struggle.
There we are. So yes, we have our first introduction to the first. It's a very pretty place. All the purple trees and grass. And apparently they have eternal day. So there is no night. Well, there is night, but it's not dark. And this has been this way for 100 years, give or take. Alright, so we're going to be heading over here. That is obviously the Crystal Tower, which is interesting. And the town at its base is the Crystarium.
Halt! Every face in this city I know. Yours, I do not. This is the threshold of the Crystarium, stranger, and I am its gatekeeper. If you would enter, you will answer my questions. From where do you hail?
Limsa Laminsa?
Do you take me for a fool? No such place exists. Had you given me an honest answer, I would not have barred your way. We care little here for a person's place of origin. But instead, you chose concealment. And I will not suffer you to pass. That one had eaten. It must have gulped down the whole hand, ring and all.
Everything all right, Captain?
Quite all right, my lord. Just a stray sin eater, and a weak one at that.
I see. Weak or not, we should be on the lookout for more. But I see you've met my guest. I will escort her to the Crystarium myself, if you've no objections.
Another of your mysterious fronts, is it? I should have known. Very well. I'll inform the others your guest is to be given the run of the city. Pray forgive my less than cordial welcome. May the rest of your stay with us be a pleasant one.
Come with me. I will answer whatever questions you have when we are somewhere more private. Right then, before we plunge into the wheres and wherefores, let me first thank you for answering my summons. I had intended to bring you directly to my personal quarters, but I fear my aim was slightly off. That you are still able to make the crossing unharmed is a great relief. And so, we come to the question of where. The realm in which you now find yourself belongs to one of the 13 reflections, or shards. The first, to be precise, even if its inhabitants are largely oblivious to the fact. As to wherefore, having been awarded the rather grandiose title of Crystal Exarch, I, in my capacity as caretaker of the Crystarium, thought to seek the aid of you and your companions.
Yes. Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused?
An inkling, yes. I can only beg your forgiveness. Matters here forced my hand. But all shall be explained in due course, I promise you. Let us begin with the glaring skies up above. Here in the first, the world has been all but consumed by primordial light. It began a century ago, by this realm's reckoning. A luminous flood swallowing everything in its path. More than 9/10 of this star was lost. And the fortunate few who survived are hounded by abominations born of that catastrophe even now. Sin Eaters, we call them. The creature you saw earlier was one such monstrosity. It was to save the first from this menace that I learned to bridge the rift between worlds. That I might call upon the aid of the greatest of heroes. And though it meant depriving a world of its champion, I had to try. For in saving the first, you would bring salvation to the source as well. But what manner of host harangues his guests in the middle of the road? Let us continue our talk within the Crystarium.
Such a proud and vibrant city. The sole sanctuary for the living in a world all but resigned to oblivion. Each stone was laid with hope. The town itself a symbol, a monument to defiance in the face of death. No would-be hero could fail to answer its call. For who among us does not yearn for salvation?
All right, we are now in the Crystarium. And if you remember back, this is the shard where the Warriors of Darkness were from. We saw a clip of, well, the leader of the Warriors of Darkness, or when we transferred over. So this is the world that is being consumed by light, or was being consumed by light when they transitioned over to try to save it. At least they were duped into coming over to the source, thinking that they would save it, but the Ascians were kind of tricking them. So, here we are, and things are in pretty bad state here. So we kind of need to help, and apparently, according to the Crystal Exarch here, saving this world will save the source as well. But we really don't know how or why as of yet. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to Crystal Exarch and see what he has to say. Alright, and here we are. Welcome, my friend, to the Crystarium. Alright, so then we're going to get our white oak weapon coffer, which we don't actually need, I don't think. Because, let's see, what does it say? It gives you a eye level 385 weapon, which I currently have. So these initial weapon, or these initial coffers that we're going to get for gear, I'm just going to kind of save for the time being. Just store them for other jobs, should I level any of them. And I can use that Orchestrion roll. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to Crystal Exarch again, pick up the next quest, and see what we need to do. That's going to get us a white oak chest gear coffer. Okay. Alright, now a full and frank discussion in the privacy of my study would seem to be in order. But I think our conversation would be more meaningful were you to first gain a firmer grasp of the situation here. To that end, I would like you to visit a few of the Crystarium's civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. As you can see, this path will take you directly to the Aetheryte, a convenience with which I am sure you are only too familiar. Being the rightful object of my summoning spell, you should, in theory, be able to reach all the way back along your etheric trail and find a connection in the source, believe it or not. I strongly suggest you complete this attunement before venturing any further. After you've done so, walk up to the steps next to the Aetheryte and head out to the left to arrive in the Crystalline Mine. This is where you'll find our collective of crafters and gatherers, as well as their spokesman, Catullus, one of the people I should like you to meet. Another is Morin. To reach him in his Cabinet of Curiosity, you'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps. Take the exit on the left and simply continue straight along down until you come to the large doors at the end of the path. Right. The third and final person I should like you to meet is Bragi, our man in charge of trade and distribution. He is to be found in the markets, which you can access from the opposite side of the Aetheryte Plaza. In seeking out each of my colleagues, you will visit the major districts of the city and hopefully gain a feel for the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Alright, crystal clear, indeed. Very good. I concede the layout of the Crystarium owes more to historic necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. In all honesty, the true challenge may be in finding the right way to approach its citizens. As you discovered during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars, and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. That being the case, when they ask whence you hail, as they inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share a homeland with the Crystal Exarch. There is an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. When you've finished making the rounds, pray meet me in the large courtyard at the center of town. Until then. Alright, so we are through our initial introduction to the First and the Crystarium. And now we just need to explore the place, find these people we want to talk to. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and get attuned. And apparently, this will allow us to teleport ourselves back to the source, should we want to. Alright, by focusing your senses, you detect the flow of vastly different currents of ether. Your connection to these energies is faint but stable, and should allow teleportation to Aetherites in the source. Good. Alright, and we're also going to have Aethernet shards that we need to go and attune to as well. And I'll go ahead and explore the place. But I think this is probably a good place to go ahead and stop. So we'll do our exploration of the Crystarium when we come back for the next episode. So for now, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.